We are exploring the birthplace of the Renaissance.
This is Florence, Italy. The Western world would look very different without Florence.
These must-see sites help show why. From the innovative architecture of the Duomo,
to Michelangelo's David, to the Medici's vast influence throughout the city.
join us to discover Florence.
Andiamo!
This is big
And small travel.
We're in
Florence,
Tuscany, in
Italy.
Woo! We are in Boboli Gardens here in Florence. Join us in our adventure in this video, exploring Florence. This video will really discuss the main things to see, the essential Florence. Let's go.
Florence is located in central Italy.
The capital of the Tuscany region, 145 miles northwest of Rome, on the Arno River in the Tuscan hills.
The Renaissance in Florence represents one of the most important periods in human history. By looking back at classical thought, the Renaissance ushered in the modern era.
From roughly 1400 to 1600, Florence witnessed a profound blossoming of science, art, and the human potential.
What are we going to see in this video? You're going to see the highlights of being in Florence, whether you have a short time or a longer stay.
We're gonna, of course, show you the Duomo and other big landmarks like the Ponte Vecchio, the Palazzo Vecchio. What else?
Of course, David's at the Academy is crucial, and some really cool viewpoints and places to eat. Florentine steak.
Made of leftovers. So you have bread, usually
Here in the Renaissance city of Florence.
Firenze. When you're coming to Florence, you're going to be dealing with this building. This is the main train station, Santa Maria Novella. We are walking towards one of the most recognizable cathedrals in the world, and even from afar. This Duomo is stunning. This is it, as close as you can get. We are clearly in the city of the Renaissance.
This is Florence, the centerpiece of Florence. Construction on this church began in 1296. Of course, the dome by Filippo Brunelleschi came after. He worked on it from 1420 to 1436. So that dome is almost 600 years old.
The Duomo of Florence is one of the most recognizable in the world. This cathedral is stunning. Renaissance architecture, that it was innovative and still is innovative today because of the dome behind me by Brunelleschi.
This dome represents a pivotal moment in architecture. Still today, the dome is the largest masonry dome ever constructed.
The Duomo, named Santa Maria del Fiore, meaning Lady of the Flower, is one of the world's largest churches.
When I think of the Renaissance, obviously you got to think about Florence, but I think of this building, this church, this cathedral. There was a lot of competition among the artists to win.
The interior of the Duomo is significant as it displays groundbreaking Renaissance engineering and large frescoes. Also, the innovative dome designed by Filippo Brunelleschi is remarkable because it is the biggest masonry vault in the world, built without conventional scaffolding, employing a special herringbone brick pattern to support the weight.
You can also visit Giotto's Bell Tower, a masterpiece of Italian Gothic, and the Baptistery, which was consecrated in 1059.
When you come to Italy, you have to visit the Duomo here in Florence. This is one of the most striking in Italy. one of the most striking. In the last years or decade, Florence has become more popular and more crowded.
It's actually not so bad. It's even worse. This right here was an old orphanage.
And the portico here was designed by Brunelleschi. He's the one who did the dome here, the Duomo. And this square here is one you definitely want to take the time to enjoy, the Piazza.
We are at Terrazza Rodo. Now there's a number of rooftop bars, terraces in Florence, many that are very expensive. This is not too bad, 10 euros for a spritz. And look at that, you get a view of Giotto's Campanile, part of the Duomo in Florence.
That is the tower right next to the main Duomo. Being able to be in the city is very important for anybody who loves history, especially the building behind us. This is not the main part of the Duomo, it's the Campanile, the tower.
Sure.
But still, the sense of importance for anybody into modern Western European history is immense. And we get to have a drink.
So much came from Florence. It's even the birthplace of opera and gelato.
The Galleria dell'Accademia was founded in 1784 by the Grand Duke of Tuscany.
So before you even get to David, you get to see more from Michelangelo. And these are the slaves or the prisoners, and they all represent really us being imprisoned within our own bodies. And you see the different struggles within the sculpture. You see them kind of struggling. Their souls are trapped. We all know that feeling.
This is perhaps the most famous statue in the world. If you ask anybody what is the most famous statue, it's probably, they'll probably say David. And it was completed in 1504 by Michelangelo. Incredible. Originally put in a piazza here in Florence and only put in a museum in the 1800s. More impressive in person than I ever thought.
Whereas most artists showed a victorious David, Michelangelo chose to sculpt him pensively before his battle with Goliath.
This David statue stands over 5 meters or 17 feet tall.
This was actually sculpted out of one slab of marble, one that was kind of cast aside, and so it wasn't the best quality marble. So David is the ultimate symbol of Florence. It represents its strength, its dominance, and where it was originally located, his gaze was actually looking toward Rome.
Remember to take the time and appreciate things beyond David. And also just take note that the Medici family did make Florence the art town that it is. The support of the arts is still thriving today and clearly it's hundreds of years old. And as you can see here, there's so much to see.
The Medici family played a vital role in Florence during the Renaissance as wealthy bankers. They financed numerous artists and commissioned important artworks, which helped make Florence the cultural center in the 1400s. Their support benefited artists such as Michelangelo, Botticelli, and Leonardo da Vinci. The Medicis ruled Florence from 1434 to 1737.
Make sure you take out at least an hour when you come here, because it's not just about David. There's actually several rooms. So you can see this one has a lot of other sculptures.
piano was invented here in Italy. And these are some of the earliest forms of the piano, as you see here. The Medicis had a real appreciation.
Cristofori of Padua. This is his creation, the first piano. There was a brief time when the Medici had no more control of Florence. This guy, Savonarola, we won't go into the whole history, but essentially he was hanged and burned in this very spot.
We are in Piazza della Signoria. This is Palazzo Vecchio. This is the old Florence Town Hall. We are in Florence.
Behind me is Palazzo Vecchio, which just means old palace. And this is all free, of course. And over here you can see a lot of Renaissance statues. There's a few of these around Florence. A David statue, but it's not the David statue, but he is right in front of this palace.
Founded in 1299, the Palazzo Vecchio is the town hall of Florence. There's also a museum inside where you can see Medici apartments, Renaissance masterpieces, and beautiful rooms like this one.
Built around 1380, the Loggia de Lanzi once hosted public assemblies and ceremonies. For centuries, it served as a free open-air gallery, housing Roman-era statues and 16th century Medici commissioned masterpieces. Note the Fountain of Neptune, commissioned by Cosimo de' Medici in 1559.
All right, little contrast from the babies.
In Florence, they're authentic. When they say they're artisans, they still are artisans, and you still see their workshops. It's not just something they say.
Keeping it real.
The Uffizi, which means offices, was built for Cosimo I and completed in 1581. The top floor housed many of the Medici's prized art and Roman sculptures.
If there's one place you only have time to go when you're in Florence, Galleria degli Uffizi. Pardon my Italian pronunciation. This is a definite must-do. The Uffizi Galleria was designed by Giorgio Vasari in 1560. It is one of the first museums in the world. It includes incredible Renaissance work, especially Italian artists.
The Uffizi has all of the major Renaissance players like Michelangelo, Raffaello, Da Vinci, Caravaggio.
For the best deal, purchase a combined ticket to the Uffizi, one of the world's oldest art museums, as well as the Pitti Palace and Boboli Gardens.
The Florentine steak.
Small T-bone steak. It's usually over a kilo, which is about 2 pounds. The Florentine steak is typically served very rare, seasoned with only salt, pepper, and olive oil. Did you know that Florence was the first paved city in all of Europe?
Florence was one of the first big cities of Europe. During the Renaissance time is when it was established. Let's walk along the Arno. Hello from Florence.
This is Ponte Vecchio Bridge, a very recognizable site in Florence. It is the oldest bridge in Florence. The bridge is on the narrowest natural crossing of the Arno River, a spot that has been used since Roman times.
Ponte Vecchio, known for its gold.
Don't buy these fake drawings.
These scammers will hope tourists will accidentally step on them demanding money.
Ponte Vecchio at night, everything's closed.
There is the Vasari Corridor, an elevated passageway built in 1565 by architect Giorgio Vasari, connecting the Uffizi gallery to the Palazzo Pitti.
This is the beautiful Piazza di Santa Trinita, named after the church in this square. You'll often see live music here, and I do see some musicians warming up. It's a beautiful square. You also have all the big name brands around here.
Piazza della Repubblica, one of the main squares in Florence, marks the center of the city since Roman times. This is Porcellino, meaning the little pig in Italian, a bronze boar statue symbolizing good luck, associated from the time of rediscovery with the Caledonian boar of Greek myth.
You have to drop a coin in, and if it goes in the grate, your wish comes true. If it bounces out, you're lucky.
Thank you.
For Florence, walking across the Arno.
This is the Arno River. It plays an important role in Florence's history as a vital waterway for trade and commerce, especially during the Renaissance. And since Roman times, connecting to other cities, especially Pisa.
The Ultra Arno, which literally means the other side of the Arno, has traditionally been the somewhat quieter side of Florence, home to artisan studios, antique shops, and the Pitti Palace and Boboli Gardens.
These are gardens that are in the middle of the city. They're paid. You need to pay to get in here. Every Sunday, first Sunday, it's free. Take a walk and enjoy.
These are the Boboli Gardens. These were established by the Medici family around the 15th, 16th century. And this style that they created has been a model for many European courts. So we're gonna see what we can find here. There's supposed to be a lot of ornate fountains and Renaissance statues. It looks like a really big, open, beautiful space in Florence. Let's check it out.
The Boboli Gardens, built on a hillside behind the Pitti Palace. You have the Fountain of Neptune here. This is an example of one of the most important gardens in Italy. We're not in Rome, but
A portrait of Hadrian. This has been around for almost 2,000 years.
Emperor Trajan, we saw his gate in Ancona in the Mark, up in more towards central to northern Italy.
There are all sorts of treasures like this throughout Boboli Gardens. You just have to look around. This is the Boboli Gardens. If you are here in Florence on the first Sunday of the month, you can roam around the gardens for free.
Nous prévenons les visiteurs que l'entrée du jardin sera fermée dans
We exit and we are in the interior of Pitti Palace, and this was a reaction to the Medicis made by Luca Pitti, hence named Pitti Palace. This is Pitti Palace, built in 1458 by Luca Pitti, an ambitious Florentine banker who was in competition with the Medicis, but the Medicis eventually bought and controlled this in the 1500s.
Buongiorno. Prenda il caffè. Would you like a coffee?
We're at Ditta Artigianale, right in Ultra Arno here in Florence. This is our favorite cafe, one of our favorite cafes here. Great coffee.
Yes, this is I Vignano in San Frediano, that is the neighborhood. And this is actually probably our favorite spot. It's super chill. People usually just walk by it because it's pretty nondescript.
But there are options here for red wine. For wine as cheap as €2.50, which would be about $3. They go up to Chianti Classico. You can get in a glass, and that would be about €5, which is almost $6.
And you can get a nice plate of Tuscan style meats and cheeses.
Here are the Tuscan style cheeses. Meats.
This is the Central Market in Florence. If you go upstairs, there's a lot of places to eat, and you can even try the local specialty here, the Lampredotto.
Lampredotto. This is very much a traditional Florentine dish. It's not a dish, it's a sandwich. And it has the intestines that, as you see here, on the stomach of a pig.
Big means the fourth stomach of the cow.
See.
When it comes to innards, it's really about the texture, and it's a little too smooth or something. And it has that kind of sour taste.
The sandwiches here in Florence are something you really need to get. There's a very famous spot which we have been to before. This is some old footage you'll see.
This is one of the many places to get the schiacciata.
This is the trendy sandwich shop of Florence.
Ooh, and some pecorino cheese, of course. I'm actually not getting a sandwich. I was craving the ribollita. This is a Tuscan bread soup, and it's kind of like soup made of leftovers. So you have bread, usually cannellini beans, Tuscan cal, and usually some other vegetables, maybe carrots, celery. Very hearty.
Very rich. Right there.
Like I always say, get lost. Get lost in any city, even in your own town, but especially Florence. Machiavelli is from Tuscany, from near Florence.
Niccolo Machiavelli is often considered the father of modern political science.
But Machiavelli is one of the first real political strategic minds.
When shopping for real leather in Florence, we recommend an artisanal shop like Infinity Firenze or checking out the Leather School. That's a big fear here. One thing we really don't like, I mean, this is a historical center, and everything needs to be... Everything needs to be positioned to the fact that it's a historical center. So the sidewalks are like tiny. This is the birthplace of the Italian language, by the way.
Dante Alighieri is often referred to as the father of Italian because he wrote his works, including the famous Divine Comedy, in the Tuscan dialect rather than Latin.
This is Santa Croce. It is quite a famous spot here in Florence. It's the burial spot of people like Michelangelo, Galileo.
Notice the architecture behind us. This is Gothic Renaissance. This is the Santa Croce Church here in Florence. If you are in Lucca, the San Michele Church has the same architecture style, Gothic Renaissance. very common here in Tuscany. Obviously, this is the time period of Tuscan history here in the pre-Italian areas.
This is Santa Croce, and there's actually quite a bit to see here. There's some memorials to some pretty big figures in Italian history, including Michelangelo, Machiavelli, and Galileo, and
Rossini.
Rossini. Covers quite a bit here. So.
We come to Dante, the father of the Italian language. And in the 14th century when he lived, Latin was of course the ideal language. And this is when this language, the Italian language, really came into fruition. Basilica of San Miniato is the oldest church in Florence.
This 11th century church behind me is one of the highest peaks of Florence, and you also get some wonderful views of the actual city behind.
The crowds today have gathered at San Miniato Church here, overlooking Florence.
It's part of the old wall right there.
The old defensive wall of Florence.
I think everyone got the memo.
This is a point of a lot of tourists here in Florence.
Piazza Michelangelo.
Florence is jam-packed.
This is Piazza Michelangelo, and behind me is David, but it's a replica of David, and it's probably a good thing because you got a lot of people climbing up this thing. But up here is one of the best views of Florence.
I'm taking the time to admire the skyline here in Florence. This viewpoint is just one of the best in the city for sure.
Back on the Arno is Museo Galileo, dedicated to the astronomer Galileo Galilei and the history of science. You'll see the preserved middle finger of Galileo, called the father of modern science because he pioneered the scientific method.
Be on the lookout for one of these little windows because they might still be working. Actually, the guy came out asking if we wanted something.
Buccetta del Vino. During the pandemic, these came back. Why?
Florence's wine culture dates back over 3,000 years. Wine windows were created in 1559 when Cosimo de' Medici, the ruler of Florence, allowed wealthy, noble families to sell wine they produced out of their homes.
This is Palazzo Strozzi. It's a great place for art. And over here is Cinema Teatro Odeon. But it's more about the bookstore inside called Green.
And it is also a cinema where you can see movies.
These are the main neighborhoods of central Florence. We recommend staying in the Ultra Arno areas for a more local experience versus the Duomo side of the river. You can also stay outside Florence in these other stunning Tuscan cities. These are all accessible by train or bus.
We also have videos covering many of these cities, including Arezzo and Montecatini. As for Florence, there's still a lot more to see.
Look out for more on Florence from Big and Small.
Thank you for watching. Please let us know what you think of Florence and Italy.
Don't forget to subscribe to Big and Small. Grazie.
Grazie, ciao.
Ciao.